Hello and welcome to BBC CWR's General Election Debate. I'm Phil Upton, and with me, Alix Dearing is a sitting councillor for the Green Party in Kenilworth, where she's just completed a year as the town's mayor. The Greens are the largest party in Warwick District Council. She's married with 3 children and has lived in Kenilworth since 1981. Alix Dearing, if I may, on behalf of the Greens, if I can just put a text we've had into you, Alix, from Jill King, who talks about the cost of living crisis, saying that for her it would be eased by increasing tax thresholds. National insurance reductions, she say, are no use to me. My income is not keeping up with outgoings. Now, your policy is to scrap the top level of national insurance reductions and rates, isn't it? That would increase taxes for people.
But at the same time, we will be raising money to go back into the economy. We want a wealth tax, a modest wealth tax on the really wealthy. And if that can be invested in our public services, in our NHS, in our housing, then it really will make a big difference to the cost of living crisis.
When you say the wealthy, your national insurance, scrapping the top rate of national insurance will affect everybody who earns £50,000 and over. That's one taxpayer in every 5. How can you justify that in the middle of a cost of living crisis?
It is for median earners. But it actually works out at just a couple of £100 a year. And we think we have to be bold and we have to be realistic. We're not going to solve any problems here unless we really look hard at where the money's coming from to rebuild our country. The quality of life here is just sinking like a stone, and especially people at the lower end are feeling this. We've got 4 million children who are in poverty. We have over 3 million people in destitution, and we just can't go on like this. Okay. So everybody is going to have to pull their weight, and I make no apology for that.
Alix Dearing for the Greens in Kenilworth, you're campaigning on a 1% wealth tax, aren't you? And people over £10 million worth of assets would fall into that category. And you're saying you will fund nurses and junior doctors' pay rises with that. I'm sure that's great for them, but how does that help waiting times?
Well, through an orgy of mismanagement, the health service is in critical care now, and this requires really strong solutions, and I would agree with a cross-party solution because it is in such a state. The recruitment and retention is very, very low. There are big problems there. So it requires a bold solution for our very futures and our children's futures. So it has to be at that level. It has to be the capital gains and income tax levels being equalised, and it also does have to be a wealth tax. And many wealthier people don't mind paying more tax. We have the Davos group, and they are actively looking to give their money away, the Davos Millionaires group. And I don't see why that should not happen, because we need to cut down on our problems and also reduce this terrible inequality that I don't remember when I was growing up here in Birmingham, and I'm from a working class home.
Alix Dearing, on behalf of the Greens, 70% of schools in Kenilworth and Southam have lost a combined £2 million worth of funding. That's the equivalent of £202 per pupil just in 2024. I mean, you've been a local councillor. You've seen this issue at first hand for yourself. If you've not been able to fix it at a local level, why can the Greens be trusted to fix it at a national level at a general election?
Well, it's County Council who's in charge, and that is Conservative-led. And District Council have worked on the edges with building and so on, and we've got a brand new school, which is excellent. But again, the the whole thing comes down to funding and repair of schools. Many are crumbling, they have a rat crisis, you can't retain teachers. Teachers need the pay rise that they've been looking for a long time. You have to start at the bottom, and what the Greens would do is put 1.4 billion into Sure Start, which is an excellent scheme and addresses many of these problems low down, brings them through children as they go through, and will do an awful lot to help the SEND crisis, I think.
It's clearly an issue that's affecting across demographic, across sectors, across even people's wealth and ability to pay rent and mortgages. Alix Dearing, you're nodding your head there because I know this is something you feel very strongly about.
The housing system is completely broken, it's overheated, and it is a result of mismanagement again over the past 14 years. What the Green Party want to do is bring in rent control. This will enable young people to actually have a home to live in, and it is something that I feel very, very strongly about, because the children, our young people, are our future. We've got to bring in rent controls, and they work really well in France and in Germany.
OK, but what you actually also want to do is stop building, don't you? Because you want to protect land. We've already got local councillors here in Coventry and Warwickshire who've said enough with the new house building plans, and have actually said they're going to limit any more future building plans.
It's a case of right house, right place, right price. We want to protect our green belts, but we're getting the wrong houses being built in the wrong places. It's a developer's charter at the moment, and as we know, the house builders are big funders of the Conservative Party, and as a district councillor we have found it very, very hard to bring in the most basic controls over how houses should be built. We want a rooftop revolution, we want fabric first houses, and those kind of things have been very
revolution,
difficult.
Fabric first houses, good catchphrases. Cooperation, kindness. Alix Dearing for Greens, you cooperate, you're kind.
Definitely, we're known as that party, and we've also got great integrity, and I think people do trust us. That's what residents tell me on the doorstep. We need to, our politics is quite frankly broken, and politicians of all hues have told me this, people who are in the House of Commons at the moment, and we need a really clear look at how we organise how everything is organised there. For example, often people don't know what they're voting for. They're whipped. What are we supposed to be voting for? What did that amendment mean? What are you doing? This, I mean, it is really, really poor. And we have to show our electorate that we are working for them, not for the rich, not for the landlords, not for... We have to really get down and make life better for everybody.